What if I told you the story of original sin, the tale of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, is a lie? Not a complete lie, but a heavily censored, politically motivated version of the truth? What if Eve was not the first woman, but a replacement? A more submissive model designed to cover up the story of a queen who refused to kneel. Her name is Lilith, a name erased from the Bible, a story deemed too dangerous for you to know. For centuries, her tale has been whispered only in forbidden texts and ancient magical incantations. She's the shadow behind Eve, the first rebel in human history. Her crime wasn't eating an apple. Her crime was demanding to be treated as an equal. In this documentary, we are opening the sealed archives of history. We will expose the direct contradictions within the book of Genesis itself, revealing the textual evidence of a missing person. And we will tell the uncensored story of Lilith, the powerful woman they had to transform into a demon, because they couldn't control her as a human. The first piece of evidence for this ancient cover-up is hidden in plain sight. We all know the story from Genesis 2, where God creates Eve from Adam's rib. But rewind to Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, it reads, "So God created mankind in his own image. Male and female he created them, male and female. At the same time, as a pair." This isn't a minor detail, it's a massive contradiction. The first older account depicts a simultaneous and equal creation. The second, more famous story establishes a clear hierarchy, with woman created from and for man. So the billion-dollar question is, if they were created together in Genesis 1, where did that first woman go? Ancient Jewish folklore, particularly the medieval text, the Alphabet of Ben Sira, provides a shocking answer. It states that the woman from Genesis 1 was indeed the first wife of Adam. Her name was Lilith. She was not made from his rib. She was forged from the same sacred earth, at the same moment, under the same divine breath. She was his mirror, not his shadow. The first conflict in paradise was not about knowledge. It was about power and equality. The legends claim that when Adam insisted Lilith lie beneath him during their union, she exploded in fury. She argued, "We are both equal, for we both come from the earth." She refused to accept a position of submission, seeing it as a rejection of their shared origin. Adam refused to yield, viewing her demand as a challenge to his authority. But Lilith was not a creature to be coerced. In an ultimate act of defiance, she uttered the forbiddance, secret name of God, a key of immense power sprouted wings, and flew from the garden, leaving Adam alone and the concept of a perfect Eden shattered forever. A distraught Adam prayed to God, who then dispatched 3 holy angels, Senoi, Sansanoi, and Samangeloth, to retrieve the rebellious wife. They tracked her to the Red Sea, a place described as a den of wild spirits and untamed energies. They delivered God's ultimatum: return to Adam at once, or 100 of your children will die each day. Imagine her choice: a life of submission in a gilded cage, or a life of freedom paid for with unbearable daily anguish. Lilith, her spirit unbroken, refused to return. She chose freedom. She accepted the horrific consequence, sealing her fate as an outcast and an enemy of the established order. This was not a fall from grace. This was a declaration of war. In her grief and rage, she vowed her own vengeance. She declared that she would, in turn, attack human infants, having dominion over them in the first fragile days of their lives. But she made one exception: any child protected by an amulet, bearing the names of the 3 angels who had delivered her sentence, would be spared. This ancient pact explains Lilith's terrifying reputation as a night demon who preys on the innocent. It also reveals the true origin of protective amulets found in ancient cultures. They weren't just for bad luck. They were a specific defense against the wrath of the first woman, a tragic pact made in the shadow of cosmic heartbreak. So why was this complex, powerful narrative erased and replaced? Because Lilith was an existential threat to the new patriarchal world order they were building. A woman who was man's equal, who would rather see her children die than submit, could never be a role model. She represented a dangerously tempting path of female autonomy. Thus, a systematic campaign of character assassination began. The defiant queen was recast as a grotesque monster. The independent woman became a demonic seductress, a succubus who preys on men in their sleep. Her desire for equality was twisted into a lust for evil. Eve, the compliant and secondary creation, was promoted as the one true model for womanhood. But a story this powerful never truly dies. It survives in the shadows. Lilith's name echoes in the incantations of mystics. Her image appears in ancient Sumerian reliefs as the demoness Lilichu. She became the boogeyman, the cautionary tale told to women for millennia. This is what happens when you don't obey. Today, Lilith is rising from the ashes of her own myth. She is being reclaimed by those who see her not as a demon, but as a symbol of fierce rebellion, untamed spirit, and the first voice to cry out against an unjust authority. She is the patron saint of the outcast, the misunderstood, and the defiant. The question remains, was she a monster, or was she the first freedom fighter? The books were written by her enemies. Now you decide the truth.